Welcome back to the Speedstar Preview Show. Of course, the main event is coming up on Sunday. Of course, three main events, but the big one that we are going to be having a look at right now is, of course, the 515 metre chase. And we'll get to this market right now where Hooked on Scotch and Feral Frankie, $2.70 each of two Jason Adams, but a fantastic field engage. You've got Seneki on the third line of betting at $3.80 and Got Some Wheels at $5.50. Shapes to be a great contest.
Yeah, this is where the big boys come out to play. And look, I am surprised to see Feral Frankie that short, $2.70, and you got Hooked on Scotch either side, $2.70, and also Seneki, $3.80. I reckon they can go $29.10. I don't think Feral Frankie can go that quick, so see how we go, but I think the two big guns are at backward prices.
So we're expecting Feral to just drift slightly before Sunday, going by what you've just said, potentially?
In my opinion, yes. I think he can go $29.20 maximum. We'll get a bit more into him later on, but $29.20 max I don't think is going to be enough to win this event with the likes of Hooked on Scotch. We've seen what he's been able to do, and also Seneki's record speaks for itself.
And speaking of Seneki, great time to jump straight into the first of the match races here, which does feature Seneki as well as Black Signature here. Seneki short enough, $1.15 and $5.50 there for Black Signature. Onto the speed map here. And Seneki, you'd expect, would have the speed to lead there off the inside. Jason Adams and Black Signature just sitting off him there.
Yeah, I think so. And look, with Seneki, not only does he have a fair bit of early speed, but he's a bully in the run to the first turn because he doesn't take a half step. He's straight into it. Even if he does get a slight bump, he doesn't lose a lot of balance, and that separates him from the very fast ones to the very good ones who win multiple Group 1 races, and that's what he's starting to do now.
Yep, certainly does. Now let's touch on Seneki and have a look. Overall, fantastic stats page. We know how good he is here.
Absolutely, we do. And look, he's been so good for so long now, of course. His last race start was in the Maturity. He won that going 29.53, and he's a big time performer, this boy. We see him here from box number 8, which I know during the week a lot of people were querying whether he was going to get across, but he did it with ease. He went 29.53 to put that time in context. He's absolutely scorching there at the Meadows. And of course, prior to that, he went up to Brisbane, won the Brisbane Cup, broke the track record, which is one I don't think many people would have thought would be broken for some time. He went and did that, and he comes into this match race fresh. Now, he's had one trial, being the trial that he had to qualify for this series in almost 2 months, where he went 29 and 24, and I reckon that run, I don't think he was at 110%. I reckon Steve White used that sort of just as a run to qualify for the series. He'll get him right. I reckon he's going to go much better than that. Yeah,
you'd expect him just to be cherry ripe come Sunday, you'd imagine, which will make the task even tougher for his opponent, and that, of course, being Black Signature. Look, overall, the stats don't read too badly, but he's coming up against Seneki.
He's a very good dog, Black Signature, and it's a shame we're talking about these sort of greyhounds being up against it and finding it hard to win, because they are very good. And look, with Black Signature, he's qualified for this series with a 29.28. We see it here on screen, and prior to this run, I thought he was probably your bread and butter 29.50, 29.60 sort of greyhound, but he does his best work from the red, and he has shown he's capable of running these sort of times. And look, he's probably better off on the inside of Seneki. He's not. He's going to jump from the outside in box number 3. And as I said, Seneki's just a bully in the run to the first turn. If these two match it past the winning post first time, Seneki's going to bump him out of it because he just doesn't take a half step, as I said. So this is an almighty task for Black Signature. We're seeing this run. He's capable of running 29.28, but I think Seneki's going to go better. As I said, that trial, I reckon, it was probably maybe 90% to qualify for the series, and I reckon Steve White will have him right to take him to a new level.
Yeah, really looking forward to this match race in particular. It shapes to be great, but your suggested bet, I'm assuming, going the way of Seneki here?
Yeah, it is. It's just going to be very hard to beat. We speak about very good greyhounds, and they are the likes of Black Signature who perform well week in, week out at city tracks, and we talk about the real out-and-out freaks. Seneki is one of them. He performs in big races. Not only does he perform, he runs fast time. That's exactly what this series is all about. And I reckon he's going to go very quick. He probably will beat Black Signature, and he's certainly a massive contender for the overall to run the fastest time of the event.
So Seneki, the suggested bet for Jason Adams in the first of the match races for the main event. We move on to the second of the match races. This features Hooked on Scotch and Cabin Fever. Another fantastic dog we're seeing here in Hooked on Scotch. $1.15 currently ahead of Cabin Fever at $5.50. Onto the speed map, how this is likely to shape up. Hooked on Scotch from the outside to come across, you'd imagine.
I think the draw's played in favour of the favourite here because he doesn't ping the lids, But once he gets out, he starts to balance up and he can set some really hot early sectionals.
We'll touch on Hooked on Scotch in just a second, but the first dog that we are going to have a look at in this match race is Cabin Fever, and on paper still, again, looks great.
It does. He trialled his way into the series. He went 29 and 31 probably a month ago now, and I reckon that would have surprised a few people, but speaking to his trainer Daniel Pell afterwards, he wasn't that surprised. He said this greyhound's always been strong, he's always ran good time. We see his run here back in December last year, which was his last win at Sandown Park. He goes 29.57, so this was a maiden heat and a long time ago, so clearly he can go much better than that. We saw that in his trial, and look, he's a bit tardy away. I think that's his only issue. He's probably not going to be able to lead Hooked on Scotch, and for what we saw Hooked on Scotch do just a few weeks ago, it's going to be hard to beat.
So drawing on the inside of Hooked on Scotch probably not an advantage in the grand scheme of things for him?
It's probably not a disadvantage for him.
Yeah.
But it's an advantage for Hooked on Scotch, which means it's a disadvantage for Cabin Fever.
No, it certainly is. And speaking of Hooked on Scotch, let's have a look at the statistics behind this particular greyhound. Fantastic overall stats here, Jace. What can you say about this dog?
He is built for this series, Hooked on Scotch. He has shown he's one of the fastest greyhounds in Australia. He is the #1 seed coming into this series. He went 29.09 in just his sixth career start, I should say. And I spoke about earlier Spring Bridge and the time that he ran on a pretty ordinary day with a lot of rain. Hooked on Scotch was exactly the same. Raining before this race, raining during this race, he comes out and go 29.09. Crazy. Before this race, we saw him come into it after he got a little bit lost through the first turn at the Meadows in a race. He backed it up with a scorching satisfactory trial, then this run. One of the fastest runs we've seen at Sandown Park. He's a freak, and of course he put the polish on his preparation last Friday night at Geelong, where he won in 25 and 34. That is express. You see Geelong Cup won in that sort of time. I think this greyhound's full of speed. He's probably not the type to go on and win you a Melbourne Cup, but this is the sort of series he's built for. He's drawn well on the outside. He will muster speed. He probably will go around 5.10 to the first split. Cabin Fever probably can't run that. So Hooked on Scotch comes in as #1 seed. Is going to be very difficult to beat.
Understandably so, and 7 starts already. Like, this is exciting. We're talking about this dog and progressive as well, so out of Sunday as well. So much to look forward to with him. And on that, your suggested bet here in the second of the match races.
Almost unbeatable Hooked on Scotch. As I said, he's got the wide draw. It's going to suit him. He's going to jump from the outside in box number 3 of Cabin Fever. He'll muster speed, run fast time. Anything like we saw him do in that race before, he went 29.09. Spoke to Jason Thompson after that run. He said if it wasn't for the conditions, who knows? He could have broken the track record, and I think all of us would have to agree with that. He looks to be a freak, built for this series, and it comes at exactly the right time for him.
Can't wait to see him in action. Now, the third of the match races here. This features Courting, who's at longer odds in the overall event, and Got Some Wheels, who's right in there, and that is reflective here with the match race market. $4.60 for Courting and $1.20 Got Some Wheels as we move on to the speed map to see how it's likely to shape up. Courting from the inside probably does have the speed to hold out Got Some Wheels to the first turn.
Look, they're probably going to get away quite evenly. I think Courting more consistently has better early speed, and she's got the advantage of the inside draw too. So if they do get to the turn at the same time, she's got the inside draw. So look, she's probably not as quick as Got Some Wheels overall, but we've seen in the past in Speedstar match races, if you lead to the first turn, there's certainly an upside, that's for sure.
Yeah, stranger things have happened. And speaking of Courting, let's have a look at this greyhound and the statistics backing her up here. Great track and distance stats here, Jace.
I've got a lot of respect for this girl. I know her trainer, Jennifer Geishan, has done a great job with her, and look, she's consistent. She runs good early splits, she can run good overall time, and I think it's a strong form reference here, which we'll touch on shortly, where these two greyhounds, Courting and also Got Some Wheels, went around to the Meadows on the same night. We'll get to that shortly, but with Courting, we see here she's got great early pace. This is the run that she qualified for this event for, 29.34. It's absolutely moving, but she's not really a beast. Like, I can't really see her going quicker than this. So, look, she's probably got a lead to be able to be any chance of winning this, and she is a chance to lead. Yeah. I think that's clear. She's not as fast as Got Some Wheels, but if you're out in front calling the shots early, from the inside especially, she's in the race.
Oh, it makes it interesting, that's for sure. So what she can do out of the boxes into the first turn is going to make it ultra important, and it'll hinder or help the chances of Got Some Wheels as we move on and have a look at this particular greyhound here. 3 starts of the track and trip for 2 wins here, and a best time of 29 and 31.
We've seen with this greyhound throughout his career. I know his trainer, Graham James, has struggled to keep him on the track consistently with minor injuries, but We know, given the opportunity, like we see here in his free-for-all win at Sandown Park back in June, box 2, given the opportunity, he runs fast times week in, week out. He's a machine. He held the track record at Horsham for quite a while, and not only did he go 29.31 here, the week before he went 29.35, so it's no fluke. And that form reference I spoke of, it was back on the 31st of August. We saw Got Some Wheels and Courting both win at the Meadows on the same night. We saw Courting go 30.02 and Got Some Wheels 29.65. So it's about 5 lengths difference between them. They both got clear runs, so I think that clearly says that Got Some Wheels is a faster greyhound. But he's got the outside. If Courting is able to lead, it makes it interesting.
He's got the challenge ahead of him, Got Some Wheels, that's for sure. And your suggested bet here in the third of the match races?
I'm going to go with Got Some Wheels, and sometimes I am a sucker for those who are strong and run on rather than the leader. So I think in this two-out format, he's got a lot of pace. We've seen that. He's gone 29.30 twice. And I reckon he's a little bit quicker than Courting. He's going to need to get around her if she is leading, but I think he's a little bit quicker. So if he plans it all to a T, I think he's the faster one.
Oh, certainly. It does shape up to be an intriguing match race as well, so really looking forward to seeing that. And just one more to come from the main event of these match races here. It features Lucy's Milo and the Feral Frankie there. So $4.60 for Lucy's Milo and $1.20 for Feral Frankie here in the fourth and final of the match races. Onto the speed map, and Lucy's Milo off the inside potentially to hold out Feral Frankie.
I think so, yeah. Look, he's shown he can begin in the past, and he probably doesn't do his best work in full fields, in good fields where the pressure's always on. But in this sort of two-out format, if he finds a front, we've seen him do some really good things when he gets to that position.
But this could make it really interesting for Lucy's Milo, and this is the first greyhound that we're going to have a look at here, and the statistics on your screen right now for him.
Yeah, look, we know he's full of talent. He probably doesn't bring it with him week to week, and I think one interesting point here is Team Daly have gone to Richmond this Friday night for heats of the $1 Million Chase. They could have taken Lucy's Milo. They didn't. They've left him here for Speedstar, and I reckon that says something. Look, if there's question marks around him, it is when he's buried back in the field and doesn't really run on. But when he gets a clear run early, like we see here, box 4, he's gone 29.29 on the Sunday. No fluke, he's done it before. He's gone 29.17 in the past, which I believe was a heat the launching pad. So, look, if he gets out well, he should lead, because we know with the Feral, everyone will be behind him, but he doesn't have that early pace. And you give a greyhound like Lucy's Milo a chance to do what he can do out in front, it's going to be a bit of a task to get him.
And this is where, if you're looking at value, currently Lucy's Milo about $4.60 with tab fixed at the moment, and you mentioned the Daily Kennel have kept this dog for the Speedstar on Sunday, coming up against Feral Frankie, yes, but at $4.60, pretty good value.
It's over the odds.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he's a certainty to win. We know the Feral's a star, out and out star, everyone's on his back, everyone wants him to win, but that's over the odds for Lucy's Milo. For a greyhound who's gone 29.17 in the past, yep. No reason why he can't do it again, all things being equal.
Yeah, certainly something to take mention of, that's for sure. But speaking of Feral Frankie, let's have a look at this guy here. He's a fantastic dog, we know that, Jace, and how is he shaping up here for the Speedstar?
The Feral. How good is he? He's been so good for some time, and he's only halfway through his career, and everyone's on his back. He's won 18 of 31, and look, he's got a 29.20 PB here. That came in the Speedstar back in May, where he's gone underneath Midnight Dare here at the first turn. So no slouch that he's going past, and he qualified for this event. Of course, the qualification period started at the 1st of June, so we did have the trial. He did that on the 18th of August, where he went 29.25. So we've seen him go on 29.25 in a trial. We've seen him go 29.20 here back in May in a Speedstar race. So can he go quicker than that? Looking at those stats, no, he can't. Lucy's Milo, he's going to run around the same sort of time if he's switched on and gets the opportunity to do so, which I think he will. And with clear room, I don't see why he can't sort of go at 5.10, 5.15 of the first turn. Don't think the Feral can go that quick to the first mark. So Lucy's Milo could be in the box seat early on.
So this makes it all the more interesting. Your suggested bet here in the final of the match races. Where are you going?
I'm going with Lucy's Milo. Now, I'm not going to say he's a certainty to win this match race, but the price is well and truly over the odds, because I don't think there's a lot between him and the Feral. As a fan, I probably want the Feral to win more than I do Lucy's Milo, but just the way the odds play out, and look, I don't think there's a lot between them, so that $4.60, I think there's juice in that for sure.
Definitely something to take mention of there. Punters looking for a little bit of value there in one of the match races coming up, and we also do have two reserves as well to get through here, and the first being Razor's Edge. Look, seven-time winner from 8 starts. Doesn't look bad on paper.
He hasn't done a lot wrong, and look, he's trained to Ross Hume, and Also, her partner Jeff Collins done a great job this greyhound. They've placed in the right spots, and look, he's ultra fast. Ultra fast. We do see him go around in a consolation event in the sprint later on tonight, in the night too.
And the 10 dog as well, the second reserve, Sweet as M.
Strong as an ox is Sweet as M. Doesn't have a lot of pace, but she's very strong. Likewise, we'll see her go around in a consolation event later in the card.
So this leads us on to your suggested bet for the overall event. Where are you going here?
I'm going to go Hooked on Scotch, and I think it's between Hooked on Scotch and Seneca. I don't think the Feral can go as quick as them, as much as we all want him to, roll on his bandwagon, but them two are just freaks. If you take the bundle bet with Seneca and Hooked on Scotch, you're getting $1.60, so you can roll that into something else. But if I'm going with one, it's Hooked on Scotch. From what we saw him do in that race where he went, what did he go, 29 and 08, poor conditions. If he does it again on a clean deck, he's got the good draw, who knows what's possible.
Yeah,
He's a freak. This is his sort of format, so keen to see him strut his stuff on Sunday.
That's the exciting thing. There could be so much more to come, and especially on a dry deck as well, it's going to help his chances massively. So that is the second of the main events coming up for them, the Speedstar on Sunday. We've still got one to go through, and that will be brought to you shortly.